Sending statements from Xero is super simple. There's a couple of different ways to do it, depending on whether you want to send statements to an individual customer or to all of your customers. So I'll show you how to do an individual item first. If I knew that I wanted to send a statement to just one particular customer, maybe they've just phoned and made an inquiry, they want to know how much money they owe, or they think they're missing some invoices, I could go into the contact record, and in the top right hand corner here under options, I've got the ability to click send statements. Now, because I've come into the contact record, I'm doing that statement just for this one individual customer, and the system knows that. So when I click send statements, I've got the ability to choose statement type. Now, it's default to activity. That's going to show everything that's been posted through the account for basket case between these dates. Now, the likelihood is if you're sending a statement, people just want to know what's outstanding on their account, not necessarily the activity. So if I change it to outstanding, it will then default to the end of this month. I can change the default so that it always goes to the day's date. I would suggest you choose that option because if there have been any sales receipts received between the 1st of April and the 17th of April, and I send a statement to the customer as at the 31st of March, it's not going to take into account anything that they've paid subsequently, and they'll think we still owe the money. So once I've clicked update to that, we can see you've still got the same information in the bottom here. This is our statement, so I can now choose to email that. You see it's pulled through default email address from the contact record. It's going to use the basic statement template. I have the ability to change these and send different ones if I want to. So perhaps I want to send stronger wording depending on how old some of these invoices may be. Okay. Now, if I wanted to, I just hit the send button. That's going to send a statement to the customer, and it will record that information on the system also to let other people looking at the notes understand that we've sent that. I can also, of course, print it as a PDF if I wanted to. If I've got someone's email address, obviously the chances of me wanting to print it as a PDF are pretty slim. Going back to the activity option, this is really useful if someone's got a query on their account. So misallocation of receipts. Perhaps a customer thinks that they've paid for something and we haven't got it allocated. Let's go back a bit further and see if there's some older information on this account. Unfortunately, it's not. If I use the activity, what it will do is it will list all of the transactions during this period range, so all the invoices, all the credit notes, and any sales receipts. The sales receipts will have logged against it which invoices they've been allocated against. So if there is a misallocation or a difference in how we've allocated sales receipts versus the customer, they'll be able to see that information on here. So I would use the statement type of outstanding when I want to just notify them of what it is that's currently outstanding on their account. And if there are any queries on their account, then I would probably use the activity process. And that's how I would use the difference between those two options. Now, that's sending a statement to an individual customer. If I was going to send invoices to all of my customers, I would go to business and invoices. And now what I've got is a button up here, the option that says send statements. So the difference with this one is because we're looking at the entire sales ledger, when I click send statements, it's going to give me the list of everything. Okay, so this is all of the customers. Now, again, I only want to send it to customers that are outstanding. You see this time the date has defaulted to today's date because I ticked that box last time to say only send to these. I can also filter by different options here and then click update, and that will reduce the amount of statements we're going to send. So likewise, a second ago I went into basket case account to send an individual statement. I could also come here and just tick that one customer to send a statement as well. So you can see there's two different ways of sending statements out to individual people. So if I wanted to send statements to all of these people, I could just tick the box at the top, and that's going to send a statement out to everybody. Now, I'm not going to bother wasting my time sending them to these people at the bottom because there's nothing on their statement. So that to me would seem like a bit of a waste of time doing that. So I'm not going to bother. Likewise, If I had customer accounts possibly that were negative, probably choose not to send a statement to those people either. If there are overpayments on their account, it might be a misallocation, or it might be that we do genuinely owe them the money back. But do we want to, highlight and flag that up at this, at this point? So I've only got 12 items. I've only got 12 customers in this ledger. So if you have more than that, you could change the number that show per page. Again, what you can do is you can kind of, block these to send them. So if these customers were just going to get this standard invoice email template, that'd be fine. If I had a bunch of customers that had lots of overdue, perhaps I've got overdue invoices and I want to send them a different type of email template. So perhaps I just want to deal with these three here that have got overdue amounts. I could send those separately, and maybe I've got a stronger worded email template in here saying, hey, you've got overdue invoices. These need to be paid immediately. Please contact if there are any queries or you need copy invoices, whatever information you want to put in there. So you've got the ability to have different email templates that you can send out and use in different situations depending on what it is that you want to do. Okay, so if I was happy with that, all I would do is hit the send button, and that's then going to send a statement out to these three customers using this wording here. As well as using a template, we can also update this before it goes out. So if I decided I wanted to just update this, I could do that now. That's only going to take into account this one email when it goes out. If I wanted to change this every single time and put the same information on there, then I would go and change the template so that I didn't have to update this each and every time I were going to send the statement out to people. You can send statements to multiple people. So these three customers here only have one email address. If I was to go into their contact record, I can add additional contacts and I can tick a box to say, include this person in emails, so that going forward, if I send out statements from the system, I can then also get that statement to go to more than one person for that contact record. Okay. So I'm not going to send these because I don't know who these people are, and I'm in the demo company, so I certainly don't want to be sending stuff out. It ended up in the wrong place. So that's pretty much how to send statements out for customers. Obviously, the key things to bear in mind is make sure that the bank is reconciled and up to date before we send the statements out. I've got 27 unreconciled items in here. That might imply that I haven't allocated all of the sales receipts to invoices yet. So I may not want to send statements out chasing people for money if in fact they've actually paid, but we haven't reconciled the bank and brought all of that up to date. But if you allocate sales receipts when you receive a remittance advice, even if the bank account isn't fully reconciled, but you know that you've allocated the cash to the sales invoices, then it would be absolutely fine to send those statements out. Okay, so that's the two main ways to be able to send statements out from within Xero for your customer accounts.